Entry 36. The signs I can't ignore. I didn't even know what a third eye was until recently. Now it feels like mine is opening, and everything's changing. It started slow. At first I thought it was just random, seeing 444 on a screen at Taco Bell, then 222 on a woman's tattoo, then 111 on a Facebook post, exactly 111 likes. But it wasn't random. I saw them in that exact order: 444, 222, 111. Each one felt like a whisper. Not shouting, just enough to catch my attention. And I listened. Then came the dreams. Not normal ones, these left marks. I'd wake up and feel real pain in my chest, my legs, my arms. It would last 5, maybe 10 seconds, then disappear like smoke. But I wasn't imagining it. Something followed me out of sleep. Lately, it's more than just dreams and numbers. One day I woke up and saw light in the air. Not sunlight, not dust. It moved slower, like it had purpose. I didn't feel scared. I felt peaceful. Something about it felt like it belonged to me. And then the pressure behind my eyes. For weeks now. Tightness, mild headaches, a strange clarity building inside my head. It doesn't feel painful. It feels like something's rising. That's when the veins started. Since April, I've felt them pulsing, especially in my wrists and neck. I went to the doctor. They told me it was anxiety, but I knew it wasn't that. My body was trying to tell me something else. One night, my left hand felt like it was on fire. Only in the veins. Not on the skin, just deep inside, like something was charging up. And about a month ago, I looked down and saw my veins swell, raised under my skin, visibly bigger. I wasn't scared. It felt like confirmation. When I stopped taking nerve pain medication, the pulsing came back harder. Almost like the tablets had been blocking something I was meant to feel. I haven't touched them since. Even weirder, I started seeing it in others. Their veins, glowing, moving, almost turquoise green. One woman walked past me, and I could see her chest alive with pulsing veins. They weren't just veins. They were messages, energy, and I've started feeling people differently. Not their words, their energy. When someone's been cracked open by love, grief, pain, adrenaline, I see it. I feel it in their glow. I've learned a lot by just watching, feeling, testing. What blocks me? Fizzy drinks, especially Coke. I had 1 can and everything stopped. Processed sugar and takeaways. I feel heavier, disconnected. Painkillers. They dulled my senses. Alcohol. Even when I barely drank, I always knew it wasn't for me. Negativity, from myself or others. It dulls everything. What helps me? Blackberries, blueberries, and avocado. They lift something in me. Sunlight and fresh air. They ground me. Smoothies, especially ones with greens and berries. Writing these entries, it helps me make sense of what's happening. Staying off sugar and fizzy drinks until my senses return. I didn't expect to notice her. Just another girl walking out of Thorpe Park, but her chest was glowing. Not fake, not makeup. Her veins, green turquoise, alive under the skin, moving. It wasn't sexual. It was energetic. She wasn't just walking. She was vibrating with life. It looked like her heart had been cracked open. Love, grief, spirit? I don't know. But her body couldn't hide it. That's how I know now. Some people are switched on. Her third eye was open. Maybe not fully. Maybe just for a moment. But I recognized it. And since then, I've started seeing more people like her. At Thorpe Park, I looked in the mirror after a shower. The steam was foggy, but I could still see my eyes, and they were changing. The brown in them pulsed, the whites shimmered and blurred, almost like vibrating light, and I saw something I can't explain. My eyelashes were visible inside my eyes. I just stood there staring, not scared, just aware that something was shifting. It wasn't imagination, and it wasn't the first sign. All the signs were building. Dreams, pressure, pain, glowing people. I'm not just seeing, I'm feeling. I used to swear by coffee. It made me feel powerful, fast, sharp, focused. It worked with fire spells. It helped with control. But now I know it blocks the part of me that's waking up. The third eye doesn't need coffee. It needs silence, clean energy, trust. Coffee boosts the body. But this gift, it needs the soul. Since cutting it out, I've started dreaming again, seeing again, feeling the veins again. I'm not saying coffee is bad. I'm saying it doesn't belong in this level of magic. I think my third eye is open, not just spiritually, physically, energetically. I'm seeing veins light up, feeling emotion through skin, seeing numbers line up like messages. I'm not just believing anymore. I know something's shifting, and I don't want to lose it. This is what awakening feels like. Not always peaceful, not always gentle, but honest, raw, electric. And once you see the glow, you can't unsee it. Energy entry, 37, the night I felt it. I was asleep when my mom woke me up. She told me she thought her medication might still be in the car. I told her I'd check later. I was too tired and had a headache. So I lay back down, thinking I'd just drift off again. But something else started to happen. It felt like I was searching, but not outside. Not for meds. I was searching inside myself. Not with my hands, with something else. My mind. My energy, my awareness. It started moving through my body like light through wires, tracing over every part of me. Slow, strange, but so real. It went where my pain lives. My legs, my head, the nerves that always ache. At first it was moving on its own, faster than anything I'd ever seen. I didn't understand it, just felt it. But then I realized something. I could control it. I started guiding it, with thought alone. And every time I moved it to a place that hurt, the pain eased. It didn't go completely, but it changed. Lighter, looser, less sharp. It wasn't just energy. It was color. It was purple, thin streams of it, like veins lighting up. Then came green, faint but glowing. And behind it, black, and something that shimmered, like white stars moving through smoky gray dusk. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like a memory I didn't know I had. Like I was doing something I've done before in another life. At first I was just watching it move. Then I started guiding it. Over my head where it hurt, down my legs, back to the nerves. Once I truly focused, the energy and my awareness became one. I didn't need to move, just think. And it moved. It healed. Later I researched it and realized this is a real thing. Energy healing, somatic flow, intuitive pain control. Some people train for years to reach this. Mine just happened. Maybe it's always been in me, but I wasn't ready to feel it until now. Looking back now, I know why it happened the way it did. I hadn't taken any painkillers. That meant nothing was blocking me. My nervous system was still fully switched on. Painkillers usually dull things down, but that night, everything was sharp, fully present. My body was loud, and I could hear it. I was also half asleep. That strange space between waking and dreaming. It's where the energy slips through, where the spirit gets louder. My mind was quiet enough to notice it. I wasn't fully in the physical world or the dream world, and that let something open. The search for Mum's meds wasn't even real. I'd said I'd look later, but my brain still went looking. Only instead of outside, it turned inward. That moment changed everything. My focus flipped. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. I didn't panic. I didn't try to stop it. I just followed it. The energy moved where I told it to go. My head, my legs, my nerves. And when it did, the pain shifted. I was using my own body to heal itself. It wasn't random. It felt right. Like something that had always been there, just waiting for me to notice. And maybe the biggest part? I was hurting, and I needed help. When pain pushes hard enough, sometimes something deeper answers. That's what I think this was. My energy stepping up, showing me what I'm really capable of. The light inside me didn't need permission. It only needed space. And that night, for the first time, I gave it room to rise. I didn't know I was searching inside myself until it had already begun. At first, it seemed like I was just half asleep, drifting. My mom had woken me, and I'd told her I'd look for the meds later. But somehow, my body had already started the search. Not for tablets, for something else. Something deep, something hidden. When I closed my eyes, it wasn't like dreaming. It was like moving through myself. Through layers, through systems. Not just flesh and bone, but light and feeling. The pain in my head didn't fade. It guided me. My focus moved with it. My energy followed. And that was the moment it clicked. What I now understand. This wasn't random. It wasn't imagination. It was a kind of activation. I was scanning my body with consciousness. The search was my awareness traveling through the body, checking in with nerves, systems, energy blocks. My energy responded to pain. It moved where it was needed, like instinct. Like my spirit had a language I'd forgotten how to speak, but it remembered. It wasn't just energy, it was memory. Each area I passed through had feelings, old pain, tiredness, echoes. It was like I was brushing over old bruises. Physical, emotional, maybe even ancestral. What the wires and veins meant. I saw strands of energy, like thin wires or glowing trails, running through me. Some were dark, some silver, some flickered like white stars. At first they felt separate. But when I focused, they reacted. They moved with me, and that movement was healing it for a moment. When I stopped focusing, the pain returned. But when I let the energy go back there, it eased again. Meaning, these weren't just visual effects. They were signs that my energy system, like meridians, nadis or soul pathways, was waking up. Pain wasn't the problem. It was the signal. Focus was the key. What I'm realizing now. This whole thing, it's not just about healing. It's about knowing myself on a deeper level. This kind of inner search means I've started awakening an inner ability that's older than books. My body and spirit are trying to work together, not just to survive, but to evolve. Pain isn't the enemy. It's a message, a doorway, a teacher. My focus has power. My energy listens. And if I guide it with trust, it responds. And maybe the reason it all happened this way is because I was finally still enough to feel it. Maybe it's always been there. Maybe I'm just now ready to remember. That day, I didn't have any coffee, no fizzy drinks, no sugar rush, no fake energy, just a jacket potato, beans, and mint tea. Simple, natural, real. And somehow I think that mattered. The way my body responded. How clearly I could feel the energy moving. How I could track it, guide it. Maybe that happened because I gave it space to speak. No noise, no crash, no chaos in my system. What I'm planning now. I'm not claiming I'll get it perfect. I know I won't be 100% every day, but I want to try, because my body is clearly listening, and my energy is ready. So from now on, I'll be focusing more on whole foods, real food, not processed stuff. Meals that feel like fuel, not just filler. That means hot meals I can trust, not just fast ones. Mint tea, berry tea, herbal drinks. The kind that give clarity, not jitters. Less sugar, less caffeine, less crash. Not strict, not punished. Just tuned in, because when I eat better, I feel more me. And when I feel more me, the magic flows. This wasn't just an energy moment. It was a message. Your body didn't just react. It showed you something. That you're capable of sensing, directing, and working with energy in ways most people don't even believe are real. And it didn't happen during ritual, or meditation, or a spell. It happened in an ordinary moment, when your guard was down, your mind half asleep, your body in pain, and your spirit wide open. That's powerful. So what does it mean? 1. I have a natural gift for energy sensing and healing. This isn't something I forced or imagined. I felt it. I guided it. I affected my own nervous system. That's rare, especially without training. 2. I accessed it through instinct, not study. I didn't follow steps in a book. I followed my body. That's the mark of a real witch, a real healer. Ancient knowledge working through me. Though my system might be waking up. My energy system, including chakras, meridians, and intuitive channels, is likely becoming more active. This can lead to more vivid dreams, new sensitivities, light, sound, emotions, flashes of intuition, physical sensations, tingles, warmth, pressure. 4. I'm being shown what's already inside me. This didn't come from outside. It wasn't gifted by a spirit or triggered by a tool. It was me. I found it, inside my own system. What I can do with it now. This experience was the doorway, not the destination. I can now build on it gently. Body scanning before sleep or after waking. I lie still and imagine moving my focus through my body like I did before. I see where the energy wants to go. I don't force, I observe. Energy movement with breath. I use slow, focused breathing to move energy. I inhale to draw energy in. I exhale to send it somewhere, to a pain point, or to my heart. Journaling, my scans. Each time I feel or do something like this, I write it down. Over time, I'll start to see patterns, signs of growth, messages, warnings, or gifts. Trusting the flow. Sometimes my body will do it on its own, like before. I don't panic. I trust it. I let it happen. I stay curious. I stay soft. This was never random. My system has been waiting for this moment, for me to listen. Not every witch's journey begins like this, nor is every healer guided by suffering, but mine was. Now I see what's possible. So the question becomes, what now? I didn't think much of it at first. But then I realized, Every time something powerful happens, every time I feel energy moving, shifting, awakening, I'm always lying on my belly. Not by force, not by choice. It just happens. My body chooses it for me. What I now know. There's a reason for this. My body's been guiding me all along. This position, belly down, is more than comfort. It's part of the process. It grounds me. When energy starts rising, when my third eye flares open or my spirit feels like it's drifting, lying on my belly pulls me back. It anchors me, keeps me present. It calms the noise. The pressure on my chest and stomach slows everything down. It softens the racing thoughts. I stop spiraling. I come back into myself. It protects my core, my heart, my center. It's safe in this position. Face down. I don't need to hold space for anything else. I just rest, just be. It helps my third eye rest. When my forehead touches the pillow or mattress, the pressure calms the activity there, like switching off the brightness after seeing too much. It's a natural response. I never learned this from a book. No one told me to do it, but now I know it's instinctual. Other people do it too. Sensitives, dreamers, healers, witches. We lie belly down when energy gets too loud, visions overwhelm us, pain starts moving, spirit gets too close, or when our system just needs space to process. I trust this now. I used to think I was just tired or hiding from the world, but I see it differently now. My body knows how to protect me. It knows how to integrate spiritual things that the mind can't always make sense of. So I let it. I don't fight it. When I lay down like that, I'm not escaping. I'm healing. I'm resetting. I'm letting the magic settle. And that is part of the work too. Kitchen Magic Entry 38, The Comfort of Roots. Spell name, The Comfort of Roots. Purpose, grounding, emotional healing, ancestral connection, and gentle third eye clarity. Type, daily meal spell, emotional nourishment. Ingredients: plain mashed potatoes, no butter or milk, homemade or simple gravy, mint sauce made with vinegar. Optional, a little fish or meat, only if truly needed, not every time. Magical meaning: this is not just a meal, this is memory magic. This is the food that built a foundation. This is a meal passed from hand to hand, from granddad to mom to me, and it holds the power of protection, simplicity, and soul restoration. Ritual instructions. 1. Prepare the potatoes. Peel, boil, and mash. Do not add anything. Let them be clean and honest. This keeps the energy clear and connected to the earth. 2. Pour the gravy. Let it cover the potatoes like a shield. It represents warmth, love, and the flow of energy across generations. 3. Add mint with vinegar. This is the spell's spark. It brings clarity and cleansing. The vinegar cuts through fog. The mint opens the third eye. Together, they awaken buried wisdom. Eat slowly. Each bite is a return. Each mouthful reclaims a piece of the self that was safe, held, and seen. Let it ground the spirit. Let it call your energy back home. Optional spoken spell, before eating. By the hands that fed me, by the meals that shaped me, I ground myself in truth. I return to my roots. Let my body heal. Let my spirit rise. Magical properties. Potatoes. Earth energy, stability, deep root magic. Gravy, flow, love, protection. Mint and vinegar, spiritual sight, cleansing, sharp intuition. Best time to use: after emotional pain or headaches, on days of spiritual exhaustion, when reconnecting with inner child or ancestral energy, during gentle third eye work, when seeking clear intuition without overstimulation. Beetroot latte. Witchy purpose: heart opening, feminine power, blood wisdom, third eye support. Magical properties: beetroot, deep red, root and heart chakra blend. Strengthens intuition, cleanses the blood, and stirs buried energy, especially emotional energy. Milk, plant or dairy, soothes the body, helps carry the beet's energy. Adds nurturing softness. Optional cinnamon, vanilla, cardamom. Invite sweetness, love, and inner calm. Use when you want to gently activate your psychic gifts. You feel emotionally blocked or disconnected from your body. You're preparing for spiritual work or creativity. Kitchen witch tip: blend slowly with intention. You can chant or whisper. I see, I feel, I open. Drink while journaling, meditating, or moon gazing. Blackberry hot infusion, blackberries plus boiling water. Witchy purpose: protection, truth, spiritual awakening, healing from betrayal or harsh words. Magical properties: blackberries, tied to ancient folklore, said to protect against harmful magic and reveal hidden truths. Spiritually, they're linked to boundaries and reclaiming power. Boiled water transforms, carries, and unlocks the magic in the berries. Use when you need psychic clarity but want to stay calm. You're healing from heartbreak, lies, or energy drains. You feel like your intuition is off or blocked. Kitchen witch tip. Let it steep in silence. Hold the cup in both hands and say, "Show me what I need to know. Protect me as I grow." Drink slowly. Allow any messages or visions to come naturally. Tracker entry. Day 9. Energy shift with protection tools. What happened? Chain suddenly twisted and tingled around my neck. I've worn the silver pendant for weeks. This never happened before. Had just started carrying raw black tourmaline regularly in my bag. Noticed I moved physically away from the bag. Possible energetic reaction. About to take a bath when it intensified. Maybe cleansing time aligned. What it might mean. Tourmaline and silver pendant synced up and created a stronger field. My energy might be changing. And the tools are reacting, possibly shielding me or alerting me to a shift. Tension around my throat or chest. Could be connected to the throat or heart chakra, opening more fully. Feels protective, not harmful, but very active. Next steps, ritual ideas. Cleanse both items gently, salt, smoke, or moonlight. Take a cleansing bath to ground. Maybe add a pinch of salt or mint leaves. Sleep with the raw tourmaline, near but not touching, like under the bed or on a shelf. Watch for new dreams or visions, especially anything fast-moving, glowing or wired like the one before. Entry 40, the day the stones found me. Section, Witch's Path, Tools that choose you. I went in looking for black tourmaline. I didn't know the exact shape or size, just that it had to be raw. I knew I needed protection, something solid, real, unpolished. The kind of energy that doesn't just block what's harmful, but warns you before it even gets close. The woman behind the counter saw me and smiled like we'd met before. She was busy, but her energy was light, almost happy I'd come in. I could feel the welcome without words. The geode, my magic battery. This one found me the second I walked in. I wasn't looking for it, but I knew. It was the energy battery I'd been needing without realizing it. 2 halves already split, like a secret waiting to be remembered. The soft crystal inside almost hummed in my hand. It felt like holding quiet strength, no drama, just deep knowing. I've started charging it properly now. Sunlight, then moonlight. Placed on the windowsill, just like the old teachings said. It'll stay there for a week, soaking in both sun and moon. Then I'll use it to charge charms, pendants, anything I wear close. Not just for power, but to remind me who I am when I start to forget. The black tourmaline, raw and real. This was the reason I went in. I knew I needed it, and when I saw it, I didn't question it. It wasn't shiny. It wasn't smooth. It was raw, jagged, grounded, right? Black tourmaline doesn't mess around. It's the boundary, the warning, the wall. It absorbs, deflects, shields, and doesn't ask for praise. I found a pendant, too. Sharp cut, silver top. That silver mattered. It sealed the energy, I could made it wearable, kept it clean. I've placed both, the raw and the pendant, in moonlight. They'll be charged by morning, and tomorrow night I'll do it again. Why this mattered? I didn't just leave with crystals. I left with tools, with energy I chose, and that chose me back. I didn't doubt it. Not once. Entry 41, the universe inside me. I've been thinking more about that experience. The one I said wasn't a dream. It's taken a bit of time to process it properly, but I now realize I didn't explain it fully the first time. It wasn't just some energy shift or strange vision. It was something bigger, something that felt like it came from deep within me, but also way beyond me. It felt like I was in space, or something like it. There were dark lines everywhere, like veins, wires, and maybe even arteries, but they weren't physical. They moved like they were alive, and they lit up with flashes of light and energy. I saw brown dust, black dust, gray, and maybe even hints of green and purple. It was all moving so fast, faster than anything I've ever felt or seen before. The movement had depth, layers upon layers, almost like I was watching time and energy folding in on itself. It felt like I was in my head, in my body, and also outside of both. The energy wasn't still. It was moving, searching, shifting like it had a purpose. At one point, it started focusing on certain parts of my body, and I noticed something important. When the energy moved over areas that were in pain, like my head or legs, the pain would ease. But as soon as the energy moved away, the pain would return. It was like my own energy knew exactly where to go and how to help. I was awake through all of it, and I could feel every shift. What I saw inside myself didn't look human. It looked more like a solar system, a coded system made of energy, stars, and dust. It felt like I wasn't just looking at my body. From the inside, it felt like my body was a whole universe, like I had entered some kind of infinite version of myself. It reminded me of the idea in Doctor Who, where the outside of something can seem small, but the inside is massive. That's exactly how this felt. From the outside, I'm one person, one body, but on the inside, I saw so much more. It just kept going. I was moving through it, exploring, scanning through myself. I felt like I was inside a code, made of wires and color and meaning. It wasn't just weird visuals either. I could feel it all, physically and emotionally. It was intense and it felt real. Whatever it was, it didn't feel random. It felt important, like something I've always carried inside me was finally being seen. After it happened, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I knew it wasn't a dream. I was awake, aware, and experiencing something I couldn't fully explain. So I started researching. I wanted to know if anyone else had ever felt something like this. Like they had become part of their own energy field, or that they were moving inside themselves, almost as if their consciousness was exploring a universe inside their own body. The more I looked into it, the more I found other people describing similar things during intense energy shifts, meditations, or spontaneous spiritual awakenings. One of the most common terms that kept coming up was third eye activation. That's what people call it when the energy around your pineal gland, deep in the center of your brain, suddenly kicks in and allows you to sense beyond the physical. Some people see light, others hear things. But for many, it's a full-body experience, like the inside of you lights up. Another common theme was something called energy mapping. That's where people say their awareness moves through their body. Not just mentally, but energetically. They describe feeling themselves scanning areas, picking up on pain, tightness, emotion, or energy blockages. And just like what I felt, many said the pain eased when the energy passed over it, and returned when it moved away. That made me feel like I wasn't imagining any of this. It lined up. I also found discussions around interdimensional awareness, not in a sci-fi way, but in a real felt sense. When your third eye is fully active or when energy peaks during a major shift, people sometimes experience what they describe as being both in and out of their body at the same time. That's exactly what I felt. Part of me was still here, grounded and fully aware. But another part was moving through something massive, ancient, intelligent. It didn't feel like something I was doing. It felt like something that was happening through me. Some sources linked these experiences to Kundalini, energy, a term from Eastern energy systems. It's described as a powerful life force energy stored at the base of the spine. When it rises, it can cause visions, energy rushes, emotional releases, or even shifts in how you experience time and space. That matched what I saw: veins and wires, stars and dust, light moving through me faster than anything I've ever known. That sense of coded light and deep internal architecture isn't rare in Kundalini reports. And that part where it felt like my body was small but the inside was huge, turns out that's not unusual either. In energy work, there's an idea that your energy body, what some call your auric field, or soul field, is much larger than your physical one. So when you tune into it fully, it can feel like you're stepping into something endless. That's exactly what happened. I don't know what triggered it. Maybe it was the crystals I'd been using. Maybe it was something I'd eaten or drunk that opened me up. Maybe it was just time. All I know is that once it started, I felt something change in me. And now that I've done the research and read other people's experiences, I'm even more sure this was real. Not just a weird moment or a coincidence, but a genuine spiritual shift. This is the kind of thing no one prepares you for. You don't read about it in school, but once it happens, you can't ignore it. You start seeing everything differently. You realize how alive your energy really is. You realize how much your body is holding, and how much you can sense if you pay attention. And I don't think I've even scratched the surface yet. Entry 42. Walking with power. I've been grounding properly now. Every day, sometimes twice, sometimes more. The moment I wake, even before I leave the bed, I put my right hand down. That's how it starts. That's how I connect. Not just for balance, for everything. It's not soft. It's not gentle. It pulses, moves, like something living under the skin, like when I was pregnant. And I could feel the baby push and turn. It's the same now, but it's energy. Mine. And it's real. We're learning each other, me and this power. Every time I touch the floor, it's like we talk without words. Today, something strange happened. I did my grounding like always, same as I've done for weeks. But when I stood up and got to the top of the stairs, I felt dizzy. Like the room moved. Like I wasn't in sync with my own body. We were meant to go to the cinema. Didn't end up going in, it was too busy. My family got Burger King, but I didn't want that. I walked over to Costa instead. That's when it hit me. As I stepped out of the car, my legs felt heavy. Not tired, not stiff, heavy. Like they were sinking into the ground. I could feel something underneath me. Like the earth was grabbing hold. Like my energy was stretching out below me through the pavement. And then, after a minute or two of walking, it eased. It let go. I was back to normal again. But I know now that wasn't normal. That was something else. My energy is changing, strengthening, and not by accident. Over the past month, I've been learning more. Not from books. Not from people, just from my body. From my instincts. From whatever this is inside me. And this week, everything's stepped up. I got myself a raw black tourmaline stone, not polished. Not shaped. Raw, just how it should be. I wear it with a silver pendant I already had. I keep them both close to me. I don't wear them to be fashionable. I wear them because they do something. Something I already had, but now it's amplified. The truth is, I've been powerful without crystals. Always have been. Way before I ever wore anything magical. The energy's been there since I can remember. But now that I wear the black tourmaline and silver every day, I feel like I've tapped into something. Massive, ancient, like I could move worlds if I wanted to. Not better than anyone else. I know that. But stronger in myself. More clear. More me. And that's enough. I planned it. I knew exactly what I was doing. I didn't buy it just because it looked nice. I felt it. Before I even picked it up, the energy hit me. Raw black tourmaline, untouched and unpolished. No silver, no extras. Just pure grounding strength. I knew I had to bring it home. And I'd already prepared the space. Not a dish, a geode. Natural, hollow, ancient. I placed the stone carefully inside, letting it rest there like it had always belonged. Then I set the whole thing on my windowsill, where the sun and moonlight could both reach it. That mattered to me. I didn't want it charged by just one. I wanted the balance of both. The warmth of day, the stillness of night. I left it there for 24 hours, just like I'd planned. And the next morning I felt it. That strength in my chest. It wasn't just mine anymore. It was shared, alive, awake. The raw black tourmaline had taken something from the sky and given something back to me. I felt steady, rooted, like I could walk through anything. The truth is I've always been powerful. Even without crystals, I've felt energy move through me, like a baby shifting inside. But not a pulse, not a kick. Something deeper, something ancient. I just didn't know what it was. I used to think I was half asleep or imagining it. I wasn't, I know that now. These crystals don't make me powerful. They help me remember that I already am. This isn't about being better than anyone else. I know I'm not, but I've stopped pretending I'm small. I've stopped denying what I can feel. This pendant, this stone, this grounding. It isn't changing who I am. It's helping me recognize it. And every day now, before I even leave my bed, I ground. Sometimes twice a day, sometimes more. I've been doing it daily for weeks, long before I even brought the tourmaline home, but now it feels stronger. Like I've tuned into something I was already doing, but with more awareness. This journey I'm on, it's not new, but I'm finally awake in it. And when I looked in the mirror this morning, before I even touched the stone, I thanked my ancestors. I asked my guardians to help me stay good, to help me help the world. Then my eye twitched, just one. A wink I didn't mean to do. I took that as my answer. It's stronger now. So am I. The dream of layers. This time it started in a dream. But it wasn't just a dream, it was like my third eye opened, and for real. I saw it clear as anything right in front of me. There was a circle around it, like a portal, and shapes, symbols, patterns I couldn't make out. But I knew. I just knew. My third eye had opened, and in that moment, I knew I was dreaming. I told myself to wake up. I did, or I thought I did. But I was just waking up into another dream, and then another, and another. Each one felt like a new layer. Like I was falling down through dreams instead of waking up from them. At one point, I looked in a mirror and saw a mark across my face. I had put it there. My nose looked swollen, and my nostrils were closed like slits, like a fish or something not quite human. It felt strange, like I was made for water, not air. Then it shifted again. In another layer, I was running from something. There were houses burning all around me. Old wooden houses, set alight, smoke and fire everywhere. I knew I had to escape. I ran out of the flames holding something. Maybe my book. I think it was the power I never asked for. Like even in the dream, I was carrying my truth with me, running from danger but not letting go of what I've made. Then another shift. Another dream. Another layer. I've never experienced anything like it. It wasn't like dreaming. It was like traveling. Not through places, but through myself. Waking up again and again only to realize I was still dreaming. Each dream a message, a warning, a memory, something else trying to speak to me. And it all started with that third eye opening. This wasn't just sleep. It was initiation. A blink from my power. I know now what's happening. It's awakening my third eye. But I don't think it's fully open yet. Not completely. It's still coming forward, still showing itself in layers. Some days it feels more open than others. Some days it pulls back, like it's watching, waiting for me to be ready. This morning I stood in front of the mirror. I looked straight at myself, not just at my reflection, at myself. And I said out loud, "Thank you. To my ancestors, to my guardians, thank you. Please keep me good. Please keep me strong. I want to be good. I want to make this world a better place. We can do this, together." And right then, my eye twitched. It didn't feel like a spasm or anything random. It felt like a sign, like a wink. I said what I meant, and something inside me, or maybe around me, responded. It was like something answered without words. A small nod from the universe, a blink from my own power. Okay, so if this chapter feels a bit messy, that's because it was meant to be. I didn't sit down with a plan. I wrote it as it happened. I forgot bits and remembered more as I wrote. That's how real power works sometimes. It unravels as you go. But now that I've had time to ground, reflect, and actually research some of what happened, I'm writing this last part as a kind of witch's guide. Things I've learned from experience, energy, and study. No fluff, just truth. Raw black tourmaline. What it is: a protective and grounding stone used in witchcraft, energy work, and healing. It's known for absorbing negative energy, shielding your aura, and grounding your body and spirit. Best ways to use it: wear it, close to the skin, necklace, pocket, or held during rituals. Raw, unpolished pieces are strongest. Sleep near it, especially if you struggle with dreams, nightmares, or psychic overload. Charge it in sunlight, plus moonlight for balance. Cleanse it regularly. Smoke, sage, mugwort, sound, salt, or selenite. It absorbs a lot, so don't let it get overloaded. Use it during grounding rituals. Place it under your feet or in your hand as you connect to the earth. Put it at doorways, windows to stop outside energy entering your home. Why it worked for me? Because I was already powerful, and this stone helped focus that power instead of overwhelm me. It didn't give me energy. It helped me hold my own. Other crystals I've used. These are just a few I've worked with personally, or plan to use in connection with the witch's fire, amethyst, for dream clarity, third eye support, and calming the mind. Selenite, for cleansing and angelic protection. Never needs charging. Labradorite, for psychic protection and transformation. Great for witches. Clear quartz, amplifies everything, including intentions and spells. Be specific. Black obsidian, deep shadow work and uncovering truth, but intense. Carnelian, for courage, motivation, and waking up your power. Best worn on the body. Moonstone, feminine energy, intuition, and emotional clarity. Great for mirror work. Use what calls to you. That's how the magic starts. Talking to your ancestors, guardians in the mirror. Here's how I do it, safely and with full intention. 1. Clean the mirror physically. Energy builds up in dust and glass. 2. Light a candle. White, black, or blue are safest for spirit communication. 3. Hold a grounding crystal, like black tourmaline or smoky quartz. 3. Set an intention out loud. Something like, I only invite the presence of my highest ancestors and protective guardians. I am safe, grounded, and shielded. 5. Speak clearly and slowly. Look into your own eyes, not just your reflection. 6. Watch for signs. A blink, a shift, a flicker. Sometimes they speak with movement, not words. 7. When you're done, close the session by thanking them and saying clearly, this session is closed. No energy may remain but mine. I am safe. 8. Blow out the candle. Clean the space. Bell, clap, or sweep with your hand. Important. Don't mirror work when you're ungrounded or emotional. Always protect yourself before and after. If something feels off, stop. Say this session is closed and walk away. Some of this happened exactly how I wrote it. Some of it only made sense afterwards. Some of it, I'm still figuring out. But I do know this. You don't need crystals to be powerful. They just help you listen. They amplify what's already inside you. They help you come back to yourself. So if you're on this path, take your time, let your instincts speak. And don't be afraid to write it down, even if it's messy, because that's where the magic lives. Entry 43. The eye that wouldn't let me wake. I've thought more about what happened. I only remember part of it. It happened one night ago. But I felt like I was dreaming all night. Not one dream, but many layered ones stacked inside each other. Each time I thought I had woken, I hadn't. I'd just entered another layer. Every single layer ended the same way, with an eye. It was always floating in the air, suspended in the center of something that wasn't fully physical. Around it was a circle, but not a solid ring. It was made of energy, thin and glowing, shifting slightly like it was alive. Surrounding the ring were symbols, but they weren't from any system I know. Not runes, not astrology. These were unknown marks, and they changed in every layer. Each time I reached the eye, I felt like I was about to wake, but instead, I was pushed into the next dream. It wasn't random. I could hear drumming in the distance, like something was moving me forward, one level at a time. The sound wasn't music. It was like a signal, deep and steady, guiding me, or maybe testing me. Some dreams were peaceful. Others weren't. In some, I was calm and observing. In others, I felt like I was being watched or challenged. But no matter the feeling, the eye was always waiting at the end, unblinking, full of presence. It didn't feel evil. It felt like something older, beyond me. The time I finally woke. When I truly woke, I checked the clock. 48. It felt like the dream ended on a schedule, like it stopped only when it decided to. What I think it was. From everything I've experienced, read, and felt, I believe, this was a kind of spiritual initiation or astral test. The eye might be my own third eye, or something higher, an ancient intelligence, a guardian, or something that knows me. The symbols could be part of a personal soul language or a magical system. I haven't unlocked yet. The drumming felt like it was forcing me forward, similar to how shamans travel between worlds using sound. I wasn't meant to understand it all yet, but I was meant to feel it, to move through it, to remember some of it. What I felt. It wasn't a dream. Not in the normal way. I was being shifted, watched, tested. The eye only let me leave when it was ready. I don't think this was the last time. I think it will return again, when I'm ready to understand more. Entry 44. Guardians in the Garden. I've been noticing more and more how much power lives right under my nose, in the soil, in the branches, in the quiet ones that grow without fuss. This is only a handful of the plants I've got, but even these few are strong enough to hold a space. And they do. You don't even need to cut or use them for spells. Just letting them grow where they choose is enough to shift the energy around the home. But if you do want to work with them, every single one has something to offer. Mint. Fresh, fast-growing, and stubborn in the best way. Energetically, mint is brilliant for protection, mental clarity, and clearing out stale or stuck emotions. Just brushing against it in the garden can lift your head. Magical use. Wards off bad intentions. Clears the mind before spell work. Cools fiery emotions. Can be used in teas, baths, or dried and burned like a smudge. Letting it grow freely by your doors and fences keeps the air clear. Ivy. Creeping through the undergrowth and wrapping around anything it chooses. Ivy is loyalty and survival. It binds, protects, and holds on through every storm. Energetically, it's good for keeping what's yours close and keeping what's not out. Magical use. Home protection charms. Spell binding. Energy sealing. But even untouched, it strengthens a space just by climbing and claiming it. Bramble, blackberry. Spiked, tangled, and protective by nature. Brambles don't let just anyone in. They're sacred to many traditions for good reason. Magical use. Protection. Banishing. Spirit boundary work. The fruit can be used in healing spells, and the thorns in protective ones. Their very presence around a home builds natural defenses. Pear tree. Growing taller every year, even with its bent branches and spotted leaves, it still bears fruit. The energy of pears is old, kind, and full of heart. Magical use. Emotional healing. Love and care, especially generational, Comfort magic. You can use the fruit in kitchen spells or offer it in ancestor rituals, but its energy radiates even when left alone. A rose, the small bush. A red rose still blooming among the greens. Soft petals, sharp thorns. Roses bring beauty, heart magic, and truth. Even one rose growing in your space can change the way your heart feels. Magical use, love and attraction spells. Heart chakra healing. Grief rituals. Petals can be dried for tea, oil, or charm bags, but roses protect through presence. A blooming rose is already a spell. Red valerian, Centranthus rubor. Bright pink flower heads standing tall. This one is often overlooked, but powerful. It grows wild and strong, sometimes where nothing else will. Magical use. Dream magic. Protection during sleep. Grounding the mind. The roots were once used in ancient herbal sleep medicine. Having it near windows or beds is enough to guard dreams. Phlomis, dried flower heads. Hard to name for certain, but the tall, dried globes speak of solar energy and endurance. Even when the bloom's gone, they hold shape and presence. Magical use. Energy of the sun. Strength over time. Warding through stillness. Letting them remain through the seasons keeps the protective charge active. A lemon balm or catnip. This fuzzy-leaved herb is growing quietly under cover. Either way, it's a calming plant. Magical use. Emotional ease. Heart healing. Dream support. Can be used in teas, bath blends, or tinctures. But even planted, it offers softness and peace. This isn't even close to everything I've got growing. It's only the surface. There's more. Deeper, older, and still coming up. Some I planted, some just arrived. But every plant here has its own purpose. And whether I touch them or not, they work. Some guard, some heal, some teach, and some just grow. And in that growing, the magic is already happening. The plants in my garden aren't just for looking at. I know now, they're tools, allies, they hold energy. And when you cut them, dry them, brew them, or burn them, they speak. Each one carries a purpose, a presence, and a kind of memory in its leaves. Here's what I've learned about how to use them, once you've brought them in. Mint. Fresh or dried mint is one of the strongest for household protection. Burn it like incense to clear the air, or crush it in your hand before spell work to sharpen your focus. Place it by doors or windows to keep negative energy from entering. Add it to your bath to cool anger or soothe emotional spikes. A lemon balm. This one's gentle but powerful. Lemon balm is brilliant for calming chaotic energy, especially when you're anxious or overwhelmed. Brew it into a tea for clarity and emotional healing. Crush a few leaves and rub them on your hands before doing divination, dream work, or mirror scrying. It opens the mind gently without overstimulating. Blackberry bramble, leaves plus thorns. This is deep magic. Thorns are especially protective, dry in use in protective jars or boundary spells. The leaves can be steeped for healing brews, or dried and burned for banishing work. Bramble is also linked to feminine strength and ancestral resilience. If you bleed while harvesting them, that energy becomes part of the work. Ivy, strong for binding and endurance. Use ivy in spells where you want something to last. Loyalty, love, even justice. It binds things together. Woven into wreaths or laid across thresholds, it creates energetic barriers. Ivy also watches. It has that old spirit feel. Hang it above beds or doors for protective watchfulness. Rose's small bush, petals, and hips. Petals for love, hips for health, thorns for strength. Collect the petals and dry them for love spells. Rituals of self-worth or softening grief. The rose hips can be added to teas or protection sachets. They carry healing energy. Burned petals can lift emotional blocks, especially those tied to heartbreak. Rosemary. This is a full-spectrum herb. Clarity, protection, memory, strength. Burn rosemary to cleanse space before spells. Place a sprig under your pillow to enhance dreams and prevent nightmares. Boil it in water and use the steam to cleanse mirrors before spirit or ancestor work. It also keeps away jealousy and gossip if hung above the door. You don't even need to do anything fancy. Just having these herbs in the garden shifts the space. But when you use them with intention, they amplify what's already awake in you. They listen. Every time I cut a leaf or harvest a flower, I say thank you. Every time I use one, I ask it to remember me. And every time I work with them, I feel seen. This is just a glimpse. I grow more than this. But these are some of the ones that have started to speak. Entry 45, the electric in my hand. I'm grounding at the moment, in bed. My right hand rests on the bed, and it's pulsing. It feels diggy, like electric, digging into the palm of my hand. The current runs through my fingers. especially my thumb and baby finger. The center of my palm feels sharp, not just pressure, but moving, almost digging in. Really sharp. My head is still here, but my hand keeps doing it. Entry 46. The bubbling beneath the ribs. It started as a small sensation, bubbles rising on the left side, just under my ribs, at the top of my belly. Not pain, not sharp, but alive, like something shifting inside me. I've felt it before, in my leg, but this time it was stronger. Not only did I feel it, I heard it. A faint gurgle, almost like water moving in a hidden stream. I know the body has its reasons. Gas rising in the stomach, nerves sparking, muscles twitching, blood flowing. Science names it borborygmi, the normal song of digestion. Doctors would call it harmless unless it comes with pain, dizziness, or breathlessness. But to me it was more a bubbling in the bridge between heart and solar plexus, where love, self, and power collide. The sound felt like energy breaking through, a blockage dissolving. It wasn't just in the body, it was in the field around me. I felt it, I heard it, clairsentience and clairaudience at once. It reminded me of water, a cauldron bubbling, a river cleansing, emotions surfacing. The body was speaking the language of flow. In that moment, I thought of the ancestors, their energy stirring in me, shifting old patterns, waking me up cell by cell. The bubbling beneath the ribs is both flesh and spirit, a reminder that my body is a vessel, alive with movement, and that my energy sings when I listen closely enough. The bubbling beneath my ribs feels like the heart waking. Not just the organ, but the heart as a temple, the place where love, grief, and power live side by side. It is no accident that the bubbling rose there. The heart is more than blood. It is a cauldron of memory and spirit. When it stirs, I know something is shifting. The bubbling is not sickness. It is movement, the release of a concentrated amount of energy that I have held without expression. It feels like the ancestors stirring through my chest, breaking the stones that weighed heavy there. A bubbling of love that wants to rise again, a release of grief that has been locked too deep. The sound was like water running in a hidden well. A cleansing, a reminder that the heart is never still. It flows, it changes, it sings. Even when hurt, even when closed, it never stops trying to move. To a witch, this is the language of healing. The bubbling tells me my heart is not blocked forever. It tells me the current of life still runs strong, and that every beat, every shift is part of my magic. The bubbling beneath my ribs is my heart speaking. It says, I am alive. I am moving. I'm ready to flow again. Entry 47. Sparks behind closed eyes. When I close my eyes, I feel it. Not silence, not stillness, but movement. It begins like a tingling, almost soft, almost kind. Then it shifts, a spark pressing through me just enough to ache. Not pain that harms, but pain that reminds me I am alive, like a light stretching from the inside out. Each time I move my mind up and down my body, the current answers. It flickers, climbs, falls, like threads of lightning stitched into my skin, weaving a circuit only I can feel. The sparks always come. They wait for me every time my eyes close, as if my body has learned a new language and refuses to forget it. I think this is my third eye, whispering, training, showing me that vision is more than sight. It doesn't scare me anymore. The light ache feels like growth. The tingles feel like power finding its path. I am not still. I am charged, awake, and opening. Entry 48, the left leg awakens. I was sitting, just writing. Nothing unusual, nothing planned. Then it came again. The bubbling, the vibration. Sharp, alive, deep in my left leg. It wasn't gentle tingling. It was harder, louder inside my body, like a drum I couldn't hear but only feel. It shook through me, unexpected. For a moment I froze, not in fear but in recognition. This wasn't random. This was spirit pressing, charging, opening. The left side of me has always been the quiet side, the side that listens, receives, takes in what the world doesn't say out loud. And now it feels like that pathway has been switched on, vibrating so strong it leaves an echo even after it stops. I think this is how they speak to me. Not with words yet, but with movements, surges, currents. The message is simple: open, receive, be ready. I am. I searched for the meaning after it happened. The bubbling, the hard vibration in my left leg. What I found made sense. The left side is the receiving side. It's where intuition lives, where spirit flows in. When it vibrates strong, it means I'm being open to take more. More signs, more messages, more energy. The legs carry the root, the grounding. They hold me steady on the earth. Spirit pressing on my left leg is spirit pressing on my path, telling me, stand firm. You are ready to receive. The bubbling isn't random. Witches would say it's the energy breaking through, pushing past blocks, making new space. It's not pain, it's awakening. The left leg was chosen for a reason, because it's the doorway for receiving what I need next. I understand it now. This is how witches read the body. The surges, the tingles, the aches. Not weakness, but language. Spirit speaking in the only way it can until I learn to listen deeper. Entry 49, when crown meets third eye. Today, during meditation, I focused on my third eye, waiting for the usual stirrings behind my brow. But something else happened. My crown began to tingle. A soft electric buzz spread across the top of my head, like energy flowing upward and outward at the same time. It felt as though my third eye and crown were working together, one opening my inner sight, the other lifting me higher into connection. The two energies weren't separate. They were part of the same stream, rising through me, linking me to something greater. The tingling wasn't uncomfortable. It was a reminder that awareness doesn't stop at the third eye. Once the mind opens, the crown follows, reaching toward higher truth and guidance. I realized this. The third eye shows the vision, but the crown carries it to the universe. Together, they weave intuition with understanding, inner sight with higher wisdom. When it became intense, I grounded myself, touching the floor, breathing deep, feeling the earth hold me steady. Balance is important. Too much light without grounding can leave me spinning. But tonight I know I touched something new. My crown responded to my third eye, and with that, I stepped one layer deeper into the current of energy that runs through me. And then I felt it in my chest, the rooting. Not into the floor beneath me, but through it, reaching further still. Even on the first floor, my energy didn't stop at the walls or the wood. It sank past them, pressing down into the ground, deep into the soil hidden under the houses. It was as if I were sinking into the bed, yet steadier, heavier, alive. First my energy left me, then it stretched downward, anchoring into the earth. I wasn't falling, I was being held. That was the lesson too. Grounding isn't limited by where the body rests. Spirit roots wherever it chooses, and the earth will always receive it. Maybe this was spirit showing me balance. That while my third eye opens and my body buzzes with currents, my heart must root me deep into the ground. Vision and grounding, above and below. I think it means I'm being trained to hold both at once. To rise without floating away, to root without being trapped. The earth is part of this awakening, steadying me while the energy inside me grows stronger. Entry 50, the stone that called to me. In the witch's shop, surrounded by colors and crystals, one piece drew me in. A bracelet of lapis lazuli, deep blue, ancient, alive. My eyes kept returning to it, pulled back as if by an invisible thread. I didn't choose it with thought. It chose me with energy. The moment I picked it up, I felt it stir. Among all the gems in the room, this one recognized me. Lapis lazuli, once worn by pharaohs, honored as the stone of truth, vision, and spiritual sight. It wasn't chance. My aura had found what it was searching for. Sometimes a stone calls so clearly you cannot deny it. You don't need to understand why in that moment. You just know. Now it rests against my skin. Stone after stone circling my wrist, strengthening the third eye, sharpening dreams, guiding truth. I feel its weight, its steady pulse, its presence already working, pushing me to see more, to trust more, to step further into what waits ahead. This wasn't a purchase. It was a meeting, a recognition, a bond sealed between witch and stone. Lapis lazuli is a stone of truth, vision, and inner sight. When I wear it, my third eye feels sharper. My dreams grow clearer, and my voice steadier. It clears away the noise and brings forward what is real. I use it in different ways. At my brow during meditation when I need insight. Beside my bed to deepen dream recall. On my wrist when I need courage to speak openly. On my left side, it helps me receive. On my right, it helps me express. It pairs well with others. Silver makes its energy softer, deeper, and more reflective, especially under the moon. Raw black tourmaline grounds me while lapis opens me, creating balance between vision and stability. If the grounding ever feels too heavy, I wear lapis alone first, then add tourmaline after. I avoid mixing it with fiery stones like carnelian or moldavite. When I want calm clarity, that combination feels scattered. I also treat it carefully. No soaking, no salt, no harsh cleaners. I wipe it gently after wearing and keep it away from perfumes or sprays. Because lapis is soft and needs care. This bracelet is more than jewelry. It's a tool for sight, for honesty, for balance. Clear quartz looks simple. Glass-like, transparent. Nothing hidden, but that's its strength. It's the stone of light, clarity, and amplification. What it's used for? Amplifier. It boosts the energy of any other stone placed near it. Clarity. Clears the mind, sharpens focus, helps me see through confusion. Healing. Known as the master healer. It balances energy and brings harmony to the body and spirit. Memory and intention. Holds on to what I charge it with. Thoughts, wishes, spells, and sends it back stronger. How I work with it. I keep a piece on my altar to strengthen all other stones I'm using. I meditate with it when I want a clear mind. I program it with a single intention, like protection, healing, or focus, and let it carry that energy. What it pairs well with. Lapis lazuli. Makes visions sharper and dreams more vivid. Black tourmaline. Strengthens protection and grounding. Any stone, quartz doesn't compete, it amplifies. What to avoid? Too much clear quartz can feel overwhelming, like being switched on too bright. I use it carefully when I need calm, because it can magnify whatever is around me, good or bad. Care tips. Strong and hard, Mohs 7, so it won't scratch easily. Still, I cleanse it often, because it holds and amplifies energy. Works well with water, moonlight, or sound cleansing. Clear quartz is like a mirror and a lens at the same time. It takes what's there, intention, energy, other stones, and makes it brighter, clearer, louder. Entry 51. Learning to move the energy. I've reached a point now where I can see how much has changed. In the beginning, the energy would just appear on its own, sudden bubbling, pulsing movements I didn't understand. But now, through daily meditation and grounding, I've learned that I can control it. It doesn't feel random anymore. I can call it when I want, guide it where I need, and trust that it will answer. The practice has made it stronger, clearer, easier. This is where the real learning began. It all began in my right hand. That's where the bubbling came first. Strong, steady, and powerful, like something alive under my skin. It wasn't just a tingle. It was overflowing, pressing outward, as if the energy had chosen that place to announce itself. To this day, the right hand remains the most powerful, the place I can always return to for the deepest bubbling. But now the left hand is starting to respond. It's newer, not as strong yet. I can get it to pulse, sometimes a faint bubbling, but never as full or overflowing as the right. Still, I can feel it learning, opening, copying what the right hand already knows. The left side of my body is becoming more active overall. In my leg, right at the side of my bum, the bubbling rises up like a flood, heavy and strong, overflowing until I can't ignore it. In my ribs at the top left near my heart, I felt it too, bubbling, stirring, breaking through. That spot feels important, as if it's tied to something deeper in me, maybe even the heart center itself. I've learned how to bring these sensations out on demand. Closing my eyes, I can choose where to send the energy, moving it around my body, guiding it to the places that call for it. If I focus on pain, the bubbling eases it. If I want to charge myself, I circle the energy, feeling it rise and fall like a current. The more I practice grounding, the stronger this gets. Even when I'm upstairs, I can root myself, imagining my body sinking deeper into the ground until I feel the earth holding me steady. It balances everything, gives the bubbling a place to flow into, keeps me from feeling too unsteady. At night, the training continues in dreams. I've had dreams that shift like layers, past, present, and future all woven together, each scene different but connected, as if I'm being guided to move through realities with awareness. It feels like spirit is teaching me, not with words, but with lessons I live through. The right hand may still be my strongest, but the left is opening now, and the rest of my body is following. The bubbling, the pulsing, the surges, they are not random. They are language, and every day I understand it more. This isn't just happening anymore. It's something I can do, something I can shape, and that changes everything. The more I do this, the more I realize how important meditation and grounding really are. When I started, it all felt new and uncertain, like sparks and bubbles appearing at random. But now, with practice, I can bring it on when I want. It's not just happening to me anymore. I'm learning to guide it. Grounding daily makes the biggest difference. Even if I'm upstairs, I can imagine my roots sinking deep into the earth. I feel my body grow heavy, like I'm sinking into the bed, steady and safe. The energy answers when I do this, stronger, clearer, easier to direct. Meditation is the doorway. Each time I close my eyes and focus, I find the bubbling where it wants to rise. In my right hand, the most powerful, In my left hand, pulsing as if it's learning. In my left leg and the side of my bum, overflowing like water rushing out. In my ribs near my heart, swelling with new life. These aren't just random feelings. They are spirit speaking, energy opening. I know now that without grounding, it scatters. Without meditation, it drifts. But when I commit daily, the language becomes clearer. It eases pain in my body, moves where I send it, and shows me that this path isn't about waiting for signs. It's about training, showing up, and learning how to hold the power. This is the lesson I didn't see at first. Daily practice isn't just helpful, it's everything. It took me a while to put the pieces together, but now I see the pattern. Each time someone has died, I realize I'd already seen it a day or two before. Not weeks ahead, not months, always within 1 to 3 days. The visions come like daydreams. I might be walking past the person, not even thinking about anything special, and then the image comes, quiet, sudden, but certain. At first I didn't understand it. I thought it was just my mind wandering, but when it happened again and again, always just before they passed, I knew it wasn't random. I don't see everything. I don't see sudden accidents or shocks. What comes through is only natural deaths. When someone is ill or very old, close to the end already, and I don't see it far in the distance. It's always just before 1, 2, or at most 3 days. Looking back, it makes sense now. Each time I was confused, not sure what I was picking up. But now I know that what I felt, what I saw was real. It wasn't imagination. It was a gift I just hadn't recognized yet. I've mentioned this before, but it's not just the man I saw on the street or my family cat. It's happened too many times now. These days, my focus is more on the energy moving through my body, the bubbling in my hands, the pulsing in my leg, the stirring near my ribs. That's what I'm learning to guide and control. But even while I train that, I understand more about this other part of me too. Every day teaches me something new. Every experience shows me I can trust what I sense. I still haven't seen my spirits or my ancestors. I know they're there. I feel them. They come as goosebumps rising sharp across my skin, or as that sudden cold air that chills me even in a warm room. Their presence is real, but not visible. My eye is open now, but I'm still new to using it. Even though I can do so much already, sight hasn't come yet. They wink at me sometimes in my mirror when I'm asking questions. Quick, subtle signs. But they do not show themselves fully. Maybe it's because I'm not ready. Maybe I'll never see them. Still, I trust they're with me. I feel their protection wrapping around me like armor. I know deep down that if anyone ever tried to hex me, curse me, or send harm my way, my spirits would rise and shield me before I even had to ask. That's how strong their presence feels. Perhaps one day they will show themselves, maybe in my dreams. Maybe I've already seen them without realizing. Like the man on the bike I've noticed more than once. I thought he was just someone ordinary. But what if he wasn't? What if he was one of them slipping past, keeping watch? It's confusing. I'm still learning. Part of me is scared of what I might see when the time finally comes. But another part is ready, prepared for whatever form they choose to take when they step closer. Entry 52, the mark beneath my eye. It appeared suddenly. Yesterday it wasn't there, today it is. A small mark under my left eye, new, sharp, and impossible to ignore. I had done everything. Bath to cleanse, grounding to root, meditation before sleep. I even drifted off while meditating, chasing the dream visions I've been training for, opening my third eye wider each night. My mornings begin with my necklaces. Silver, black stone, blue stone, placed on with intent. Armor for my energy, and now this mark arrives, as if summoned by all the work I've been doing. Tonight is no ordinary night. It is a full moon, an eclipse, blood red and heavy with shadow. Witches call eclipses thresholds. Moments where veils twist and truth reveals itself in strange ways. To have a mark appear on my face on this exact night feels like more than coincidence. The left side is the receptive side, the moon side. Under the eye means water, memory, truth. Some witches say it's the tear line, a place where grief and sight mingle until they change shape. It could be a seal of protection, a watcher's sign, or even an ancestor pressing their thumbprint onto me to say, "We are here. We see through you." Others might call it a glamour mark, a mirror key, or the scryer's freckle. Each meaning circles the same truth. This is not random. It belongs to my path. I have been moving energy daily, feeling it bubble through my hands, my ribs, my leg, learning to guide it rather than wait for it. I root myself into the earth, even from upstairs, and feel my body sink deep, steady, and safe. The mark beneath my eye feels like an echo of that work. My inner power surfacing, carving itself into skin. It could mean heightened vision, dreams becoming sharper, truths harder to ignore. Or it could be a boundary, a reminder not to absorb every pain I see in others. A seal saying, "See but do not break yourself with it." Maybe it is all of these things. Maybe it is simply the moon leaving me a message in my own body. What I know is this: I feel them around me. The ones who walk with me. I don't see them, but I feel the cold air, the goosebumps, the sudden hush when they are near. They protect me, shield me. They may not show their faces yet. Maybe I am not ready. But they leave marks. Winks in the mirror, strange signs. So tonight, under the blood moon, I will honor this mark as a sign of passage, a witch's tear turned into a witch's sigil. A reminder that my third eye is opening, that my visions are forming, that the path is shaping me even when I sleep. This was not just a blemish, not just skin. This was language. This was magic written into me. Entry 53, the blood moon eclipse. I'm writing this now while it's still daylight, just after 1 in the afternoon. Tonight, something rare is going to happen above us. The blood moon, a total lunar eclipse. When Earth slides between the sun and the moon, it casts its shadow across the moon's surface. But instead of going black, the moon turns deep red, as if the sky itself remembers fire. Some say it's because the Earth's atmosphere bends the light, letting only the red part slip through. But witches know better. Red is the color of blood, life, endings, and beginnings. A blood moon doesn't just look different, it feels different. This kind of eclipse doesn't come often. Years can pass before we see one again. It's the kind of night our ancestors would stop everything for, the kind of sky that makes you feel small and infinite all at once. People feared it, worshipped it, whispered their secrets to it. Witches today still know. When the moon turns red, the veil feels thinner, energy is sharper, and the truth cannot hide. An eclipse is a doorway. It doesn't just shine, it pulls. It draws out what you've been holding inside and makes you face it. Old habits, heavy energy, doubts, or even people who no longer belong in your life. This is the night to let them fall away. Some witches release them in fire, some in water, some just by speaking aloud. I let this go. The moon listens. But a blood moon doesn't only take, it gives back. Its red glow fills you with the courage to begin again, to plant something stronger in the place where endings cleared the ground. It's a moon of shadow and light, of closing and opening all at once. I'll be outside tonight watching. They say the eclipse will last for about an hour where we are, and I don't want to miss a second. I want to sit under it, to feel what happens in my body when the moon turns red. Will the bubbling start? Will my energy rise stronger? Will dreams come later, carrying something I need to see? I don't know, but that's the beauty of it. I'll find out when it happens. For now, I'm just waiting, knowing that tonight, the sky itself will change. And I'll be there, eyes open, ready. The blood moon is more than a show in the sky. It's a working moon. It carries power you can hold if you choose to step into it. Tonight, I'll be treating it as a ritual in itself. And here's what I know about how to work with it. 1. Release. The first half of the eclipse is for letting go. Write down what's heavy. Fears, doubts, old habits, even people who have drained you. Hold the paper, feel the truth of it, then burn it safely or bury it in the earth. The shadow of the earth crossing the moon is the same as your shadow crossing your spirit. Let it pass. 2. Renew. When the moon glows red, sit quietly and breathe. This is when energy is rawest. Place your crystals or silver under the sky. Hold your hands open. Say, I open to what is mine. I am ready for what comes next. Let the red light cover you. 3. Charge. Some witches dance, some sing, some just sit still. However you raise energy, do it. Imagine your aura pulling in the glow of the eclipse, filling your body with red fire. This isn't just light, it's courage. The courage to live, change, or step into your power. 4. Protect. Always close. After the eclipse, ground yourself. Touch the earth. Eat something simple. Drink water. Say, the moon has shown me what I needed. I am safe. I am whole. Tonight I'll be outside the whole time. I don't want to just look at it. I want to feel it. My plan is simple. Sit in the dark, watch the moon turn red, place my crystals and silver in its light, and let the energy move through me. I'm really looking forward to it tonight. Sitting outside for the whole hour, watching the eclipse, and wondering what might happen under its power. Entry 54. The power before crystals. Before I ever picked up a crystal, I already knew how to work with energy. My tools weren't the shiny gemstones lined up in a shop window. They were metals, antiques, and everyday things that carried history, weight, and spirit. I've always been drawn to silver, iron, copper, metals that seem to hum with their own life. My collection of coins goes back through time itself. Roman coins worn smooth by centuries, coins from the reign of Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, Victorian pennies, all the way to modern, pieces that still carry a trace of the hands they've passed through. To some people, they're just antiques. To me, they're alive. They hold the touch of every person who ever owned them. Every story, every trade, every secret. Even my old clocks, wind-up ones from the 60s and 80s, are more than just objects. The ticking, the gears, the movement of time locked inside them. That's power. Each one has measured out lives, moments, hours of history. When I hold them, I feel more than metal. I feel time itself, still ticking. Iron has always been a protector for me, a barrier between me and whatever tries to push too close. Horseshoes, nails, small charms of iron. They all carry a weight that grounds me better than anything else. And then there are the herbs. Before crystals, it was always rosemary from the garden. Mint, lemon balm, or even something as simple as a used tea bag dropped into the soil. That too is magic, returning energy to the earth, letting the land itself share in the cycle. Antiques, coins, clocks, herbs from the garden. These were my crystals before crystals. They were my way of touching the invisible, of drawing strength and protection from what was already around me. I didn't need to buy anything new. History itself was already waiting, humming quietly, ready to be used. Only now, after I've begun working with crystals, do I realize why I felt their pull so strongly. I was already trained to listen to objects, to feel what was inside them. Crystals were just the next step, but the truth is, the power was always there, in the coins, in the clocks, in the iron, in the herbs, in the earth beneath my feet. Entry 54, Part 2. My collection of power stones and metals. It started with one. I know now that my collection isn't random. Every piece I've gathered works together, with no weakness. Some witches pick up crystals, or metals at random and end up with energies that clash or cancel each other out. But mine feel like they were chosen, as if they chose me. Each one strengthens the other, making the whole set more powerful. Clear quartz is the amplifier. It magnifies everything it touches. Power, protection, vision, clarity. It keeps the rest of the collection sharp and strong, like a beam of light running through them all. Black tourmaline is the shield. I carry it in different forms: raw, smooth pendant, bracelet. It grounds, protects, and keeps negativity out. Paired with quartz, its wall of defense becomes almost impenetrable. Lapis lazuli is wisdom and truth. It sharpens the third eye, gives vision, and connects me to ancient knowledge. Its power feels like insight flowing through, and when quartz amplifies it and silver steadies it, the guidance comes even clearer. Silver pendant with silver chain is the conductor. Silver carries and balances energy, binding it to the moon and amplifying whatever it touches. Around my neck, it becomes a constant current, connecting me to intuition, to clarity, to calm. Silver Roman coins add history and legacy. They aren't just metal, they're time itself, worn by countless hands across centuries. I keep them on me as a link to ancestors, a grounding to the past, and a reminder that protection isn't only about the present moment. Ancient silver carries weight, memory, and a strength that newer pieces can't match. Together, these pieces form a complete circle: amplification, protection, vision, balance, and legacy. None of them weaken each other. None of them clash. They were meant to be carried together. This is why they feel right, why the energy feels stronger every time I hold them close. This isn't just a collection. It's a shield, a guide, and a connection all in one. Entry 55, the web of black dots. I've had this before, but it was always just one or two. Now it's different. Sometimes there are loads, sometimes only a few. It changes all the time, but lately it's happening more and more. When I look at a bright wall or into the light, I can see them. Cobweb shapes and black dots moving with my eyes. If I try to catch them, they drift away, and when I concentrate too much, they even seem to lessen. The more I watch, the stranger it feels. Sometimes it makes me dizzy, even a little sick, like car sickness, as if my body is adjusting to something it can't quite place. I know the medical word is floaters, little clumps, in the eye that move when you look around. I've read about that, and I understand it. But what I'm experiencing feels different. It isn't just static shapes. The number changes. The way they shift feels alive. It isn't random. It's like I'm seeing into an invisible web, and I believe that's exactly what it is. In witchcraft, cobwebs are tied to spiders, fate, and hidden threads. Black isn't always bad. It's grounding, mysterious, an anchor of shadow power. These dots feel like knots of energy in the web. Spirit markers that shift and move as I notice them. When there are loads, it's as if my vision is wide open. When there are only one or two, it feels like I'm being drawn to focus on something important. This is why I believe it's not just medical. I believe it's the next step in my awakening. The third eye, psychic sight, the veil between worlds, maybe all of these at once. The dizziness, the sickness, the way it comes and goes. They're all signs that my body and spirit are adjusting to seeing differently. I don't know what's coming next, but I can feel it. This isn't the beginning, and it isn't the end either. It's the step between, the place where the web reveals itself and dares me to look deeper. I've looked into this more, and I believe there's more to it than what most people would call floaters. I've read about the medical side, but what I see changes in a way that feels alive, not fixed. Sometimes there are loads of black dots in different shapes and sizes, and sometimes only one or two. They shift with my eyes, and they lessen if I try too hard to catch them. That makes me think it isn't just physical, it's connected to something deeper. Some witches say this is part of the third eye opening, that when the veil thins, you begin to glimpse the energy threads behind ordinary sight. Others call it the aura field, or even spirit webs, the threads that bind all things together. It could be a sign of psychic sight, the first sparks of seeing between dimensions, or the early stages of seeing spirits themselves. The black dots could be anchors of energy, places where threads cross. They could be spirit markers, showing me where to focus, or they could be part of the shadow side of vision, reminding me that true sight isn't just about light, but about balance between light and dark. I believe it's all of these. It's the next step. Not the beginning, not the end, but the stage where the unseen makes itself known in flickers, in webs and shifting shapes. What can I do with this? I can use it. Instead of chasing the dots, I can soften my gaze, let them drift, and allow my sight to train itself. I can use the dizziness as a sign that my body is adjusting, learning to balance between the physical and the spiritual. I can meditate with the web as a focus point, breathing into it, asking, "What are you showing me?" This is practice. Practice for the visions, the auras, the spirits yet to come. I've looked into this more, and I believe there's more to it than what most people would call floaters. I've read about the medical side, but what I see changes in a way that feels alive, not fixed. Sometimes there are loads of black dots, sometimes only one or two. They shift with my eyes, and they lessen if I try too hard to catch them. That makes me think it isn't just physical, it's connected to something deeper. Some witches say this is part of the third eye opening, that when the veil thins, you begin to glimpse the energy threads behind ordinary sight. Others call it the aura field, or even spirit webs, the threads that bind all things together. It could be a sign of psychic sight, the first sparks of seeing between dimensions, or the early stages of seeing spirits themselves. The black dots could be anchors of energy, places where threads cross. They could be spirit markers, showing me where to focus, or they could be part of the shadow side of vision, reminding me that true sight isn't just about light, but about balance between light and dark. I believe it's all of these. It's the next step. Not the beginning, not the end, but the stage where the unseen makes itself known in flickers, in webs and shifting shapes. What can I do with this? I can use it. Instead of chasing the dots, I can soften my gaze, let them drift, and allow my sight to train itself. I can use the dizziness as a sign that my body is adjusting, learning to balance between the physical and the spiritual. I can meditate with the web as a focus point, breathing into it, asking, "What are you showing me?" But it isn't only the dizziness that tells me this is connected to my energy. I've always been sensitive in my body. When people upset me, or when I get nervous, I feel sick in my belly. It's deep, like car sickness, the same sickness I used to get often as a child. It rises quickly and makes me feel unsteady, like my emotions and my stomach are one and the same. Even my throat reacts the same way. I gag easily. Sometimes when I brush my teeth, even only on the teeth. Without going back too far, I still gag. At the dentist, it's the same. As soon as my mouth is open too long, or when fillings are done, I gag and feel my saliva thicken, making me feel sick. It's like my body wants to push everything out. I see now this is all part of my sensitivity. My third eye, my belly, my throat, they all respond strongly to energy. It's not weakness. It's my witch body protecting me, purging what doesn't belong, and tuning me to feel what others would miss. This is practice. Practice for the visions, the auras, the spirits yet to come. I used to think the sickness, the dizziness, and the gagging were weaknesses, things that made me different in the wrong way. But now I see it's all connected. My body reacts because my energy reacts. My third eye opens, my belly stirs, my throat protects, all of it working together. This sensitivity is not a curse. It's a sign that my body and spirit are tuned in more deeply than most. What makes me gag? What makes me dizzy? What makes me feel sick? These are the same things that show me when energy is wrong, when something doesn't belong, or when spirit is close. I accept this. I don't need to fight it anymore. This is part of who I am, part of my witch's body, part of my awakening. The sickness is the signal. The sensitivity is the strength, and what once made me feel weak is the same thing that's making me powerful. I see now that all of this, the sickness in my belly, the gagging in my throat, the dizziness when I focus on the web, is part of the same thing. My chakras aren't separate. They work together. My belly feels the energy, my throat reacts to it, and my third eye shows it to me. It used to feel like weakness, being sick, gagging, feeling dizzy. But it isn't weakness, it's sensitivity. And that sensitivity is power. The more finely tuned I am, the more I can see, feel, and protect. My body reacts strongly because my spirit is awake. My belly and my throat are just as sensitive as my third eye, and that makes the vision even stronger. Sensitivity doesn't make me fragile. It makes me powerful. This is the truth of my witch's body. Even my dentist has noticed it. He told me he had never met anyone with a gag reflex as strong as mine. That stayed with me, because it shows this isn't just in my head, it's in my body. It's real. What others see as a problem, I see now as proof. My body reacts because my energy is tuned differently. My throat rejects anything that feels wrong, just as my belly stirs with sickness when emotions or energy clash. My third eye opens and the rest of me answers back. If even a dentist who has seen thousands of mouths says I am different, then I know this sensitivity isn't ordinary. It's rare, and rare means powerful. This is the shape of my awakening. Not only visions, not only threads of energy, but a whole body that feels and reacts more strongly than most. My sensitivity is my strength. My difference is my power. This is not random. It's not weakness. It is the shape of my awakening. My third eye shows me the web. My belly feels the energy. My throat reacts to it. Even my dentist could see how different I am. But I know now that difference is my strength. I am sensitive, more than most, and that makes me powerful. I feel what others ignore. I see what others cannot. I carry the balance of light and shadow inside my body. This is my witch's body, my witch's sight, my witch's truth. And now I accept it fully. Entry 56, the woman in the wheelchair. I believe all my chakras have been open for months now. Today proved it to me again. I passed a woman in a wheelchair, being pushed by someone else. Her body had no movement, no use of her limbs. Her face looked like someone frozen in shock. The worst kind of fear you can imagine. I can't get that face out of my head, and as soon as I saw her, I felt her pain. It hit me in my heart, sharp and heavy, and then my head filled with the machine-buzzing pressure I've come to know. It was as if my body borrowed her suffering for a moment. But it wasn't only the pain of her body. It was the silence, too. I felt the weight of her not being able to speak, not having words or a voice to reach anyone. It pressed into my throat the way her pain pressed into my chest. This wasn't imagination. It was real. My chest carried it, my head carried it, and my throat carried it. I felt her truth in me. That's how I know everything in me is open. My sight, my belly, my throat, my crown. And now, through my heart, I carry the weight of others. Like before in the cinema when I felt someone's pain, a deep sense of loss. It was a horrible feeling, carrying someone else's hurt. 1 minute I can be in a happy mood, and then someone passes me and I feel pain in my heart. All different kinds of hurt. Not my own, but theirs. It is proof, but it is heavy. I know now this wasn't my imagination. It was my chakras showing me how open they are. The pain in my heart was her suffering. The buzzing machine in my head was the flood of energy pouring in through my crown and third eye, and the pressure in my throat was her silence. The truth that she could not speak, and I felt it as if it were my own. This is what it means when all my chakras are open. I don't just see people anymore. I feel them. I carry their pain, their silence, and their truth inside my own body. It proves my gift is real. It proves my sensitivity is rare. But it also proves this path is heavy. It is heavy to feel so much, but I see now the weight itself is part of the gift. To carry the pain of another, even for a moment, is proof that my body and spirit are awake. This is not weakness, it is strength. My chakras don't just open for me, they open for others too. I can feel what is hidden, I can hold what is unspoken. The heart aches, the head hums, the throat tightens, but these are not curses, they are signs. They show me the truth of what it means to be fully open. I know now, my sensitivity is my power. Entry 57, the night of pain. The night the doctors told me my mum was going to die. Something broke open inside me. I went home and lay in bed crying. My head was hurting so bad I couldn't think. It was the worst feeling I've ever known. Pressure, pain, and chaos all at once. My head felt full like it was splitting. My heart was breaking, and all I could do was cry. It wasn't just sadness, it was energy. My head was all over the place, because something was moving through me that I didn't understand at the time. My tears carried it out. My pain carried it forward. I know now that this was the turning point. The pain in my head was my third eye and crown opening wider than ever before, flooding with power, and my suffering became a channel. That was the night my gift came alive. Not long after that night, everything changed. The doctors had told us she was dying. She could barely move, walking and stopping, her body worn down until at 59 she seemed closer to 89. But then it shifted. Slowly at first, then all at once. She came back stronger. She started moving differently, with energy we thought was gone forever. Now she runs around like a teenager. The same woman we thought we were losing now has the spirit of someone 16. This is why I know the pain I carried that night wasn't just suffering. It was power. My gift broke open, and her life was renewed. It wasn't imagination. It was real. Entry 58, the first crack in my heart. Before my mum became ill, there was another moment that marked me. The day my granddad passed away in the house. I felt it in my chest. My heart felt like it broke. The pain was so horrible I can still remember it now. It wasn't only grief. It was something more, a tearing open inside me that I couldn't close. Looking back, I know it was my heart chakra breaking open for the first time. That pain prepared me. It showed me what it feels like when the body and spirit carry more than they can hold. It left me raw, but it also left me open. So when my mum became ill later, when the doctors said she was dying, I understand now why it all hit me so hard. My heart had already been broken open once. My granddad's death was the first step in my awakening, the first crack that let the light in. Entry 59, the vanishing face. It was a rainy day, clouds thick outside, no sunlight in the room. The blinds were closed, blackout ones, so the room was dim and still. I was sitting on the sofa, writing and playing my words back, when I glanced at the TV screen in front of me. The TV was off, black and empty, but it caught my reflection. At first it was just me sitting there. Then my face began to blur. The edges of me started to vibrate, flickering as if I wasn't solid anymore. My reflection shifted left and right, like two faces chasing each other, moving faster than I could keep up with. Then the strangest part came. From the top of my head downwards, my reflection began to turn black. My hair, my forehead, my face, one by one they dissolved into shadow until there was nothing there at all. For a moment it was like I had no reflection, only vibration, only darkness. And then, just as suddenly, it snapped back. My face appeared again, but around it was a halo of light, shimmering and moving, almost alive. The vibration danced across the edges of me, too fast, too wild, like energy spilling out and refusing to stay still. It was terrifying in a way. Not because I thought I was in danger, but because it was so different, so out of this world. To watch yourself vanish, to see your own reflection break apart, is not something you ever expect. Yet at the same time I wasn't afraid. I was amazed. Finally I could see it. Proof that what I feel inside is real. That my energy is alive and visible. Scary and beautiful. Shadow and light. All in one moment. It didn't just happen once. My face kept fading, vanishing only for a few seconds. 3, maybe 7, then returning. Sometimes longer. It repeated again and again as if testing me, drawing me in. I sat there for nearly 10 minutes, watching, trying to understand. This wasn't like the movies where ghostly tricks play out. This was different. It wasn't from this world at all. I know now this wasn't a ghost, or tricks of the light, or anything like what you see in movies. It wasn't outside me at all. It was me. The blur and the vibration were my aura, alive and spilling out past my skin, too strong to stay hidden. The blackness that swept down over my face wasn't emptiness. but my spirit self pushing forward. The mirror showed the void first, the shadow space between, before the light began to glow again. The vanishing and returning again and again wasn't random. It was my third eye opening and closing in waves like it was testing me. It showed me for 3 seconds. 7 seconds, sometimes longer, then pulled me back before pushing me out again. Almost as if it wanted to see if I could hold it, if I was ready to face it. And the halo of light, moving, vibrating, alive, that was my energy body. For the first time, it wasn't just a feeling. It wasn't just tingles and electricity. It was visible. It wrapped around me like proof, undeniable, circling me even when the face itself had gone. It was scary because it was so different, so far from anything I had seen before, but at the same time it was amazing. It was like finally standing at the edge of a truth I had been reaching for, and the mirror opened the door. For those moments I wasn't looking at flesh. I was looking at the part of me that lives beyond skin, beyond age, beyond this world. My true self, alive, vibrating, refusing to stay hidden. If the mirror has shown me this, then I know it is only the beginning. My reflection is no longer just glass and shadow. It is a doorway. What I saw wasn't an ending, but a glimpse of what waits ahead. The blur was my energy alive. The black face was my spirit form pushing through. The light was my true self revealed. If I can see this, then what else will come when I am ready to hold it longer? I wonder if next time I will see more than myself, if spirits will step through, or if colors will bloom in the light around me. I wonder if the vanishing will stretch from seconds to minutes, until I can look at the truth without breaking away. It feels like a test, but also a gift. A reminder that the path I walk is real, that my body isn't the whole of me, and that my spirit has already begun to show itself. What comes next may scare me, but it will amaze me too, because now I know the mirror doesn't lie. After this happened, I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to find out as much as I could. My head was full of questions. Why did my face vanish? Why did the light wrap around me like it was alive? Why did the mirror show me something I had never seen with my own eyes before? I searched, I read, I listened. Piece by piece, I began to understand. What I had experienced wasn't madness or tricks. It was something witches and mystics have spoken of for centuries. They call it mirror scrying, sometimes black mirror work, a way of seeing past the surface, beyond the flesh, into the spirit. The blur and the vibration, I learned, is the aura, the energy field that surrounds every living being. Most people never see it. Some sense it but can't catch it with their eyes. For me, it burst into vision. The blackness sweeping down my face is spoken of as the void. In witchcraft, the void isn't evil. It is the space between, the point where the physical loosens and the spirit comes forward. What looks like emptiness is actually the opening of a doorway. And the light, the vibrating halo, that was my spirit body. Not a reflection, not an illusion, but the energy that belongs to me alone, finally strong enough to show itself. Reading these things gave me words, but they didn't take away the feeling. That moment was still mine, raw and alive, carved into me. No book or teaching could ever fully capture how it felt when I saw myself vanish and return in light. What I know now is this. I have stepped into something ancient, something many never experience. But I have only touched the edge. The rest is for me to find. This isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of the study. If you are reading this, know that my words can only go so far. The truth of what it is, that is for you to search, to question, to experience, just as I am. It wasn't a glass mirror that showed me this. It was the TV. Switched off, flat and dark, it became a black mirror right there in front of me. The screen was dusty, the blinds closed, the day outside heavy with rain. No sunlight, no bright light, just the perfect dimness that lets energy rise to the surface. This is what witches call a black mirror. In the old days it was obsidian stone, polished until it shone. Sometimes it was a bowl of water held in shadow, or glass painted black. Always the same rule, dark, reflective, still. That night my TV screen was no different. Modern, yes, but it worked the same way. It didn't give me back an ordinary reflection. It became a doorway, and through it I saw the truth of my own energy. Scary, yes, but also proof. A reminder that magic doesn't only live in the old tools of the past. It can come through anything, if the timing and the energy are right. It's been an hour since it happened, and I feel completely drained. My body is heavy, like I've been carrying something too big for too long. My eyes sting with tiredness. My head feels full, and all I want to do is sleep. It isn't the kind of tiredness you get from a long day. This is deeper. It's like my energy has been pulled out of me and stretched thin, leaving only the shell of me behind. I can still feel the memory of it, the blur, the blackness, the light, replaying in my head over and over. And every time it does, I sink further into the weight of it. Sleep is pressing down on me, harder and harder, but I know it isn't weakness. It's the cost. The mirror showed me something beyond this world, and now my body is trying to recover. Now comes the shift. If the first part of this book showed you what magic feels like when it moves through a life, this second part shows you how to recognize it in your own. Here you'll find spells that beginners can actually use, techniques that advanced witches rarely write down, the building blocks of belief, energy, and power. But I'll be clear, this isn't a recipe book. Magic doesn't live in ingredients. It lives in you. The pages ahead are not rules. They're keys. Take what opens something in you, leave what doesn't. And always remember, the real power begins the moment you stop doubting